Hey, you know what? I know it's dark, but I think it's fitting for this video. I'm gonna tell you guys something I ain't never told nobody, and I probably shouldn't tell anybody now, but I really just want to get it off my chest. Um, I When I was 15 years old, I took somebody's life. Okay. I never been charged with it, never been arrested for it, never went to jail for it, never came back to bite me in my behind. Right. Um, but in my mind, I did it. I did it for a righteous reason. Uh, I come from a troubled background, right? My mother, she was on drugs my whole life. My father, I never really knew him. As far as I can tell, he was just some guy from back in the day that my mama was, prostituting with for drugs. It is what it is. And I never really had a whole lot of friends, because I was the poor kid, the dirty kid, you know. And when I was younger, in like kindergarten or first grade, I met what became my best friend in this world. I mean, we did everything together, and we always used to sit around and talk about how we were gonna make it out of the quote unquote hood. We were gonna make it out of the ghetto. We were gonna make something of ourselves, and we always told ourselves that we were gonna hustle our way to the top like Scarface. And one night, make a long story short, one night we were outside these housing projects in my neighborhood, and we used to sell crack outside of these apartment complexes because technically we weren't supposed to be there. So there was a lot of big name dope dealers inside of these projects. And so what we would do, we would hang outside in the bushes, and whenever we would see cars that were coming by that we thought were coming by to buy drugs from the people inside, we would run out the bushes, we'd run to the car real fast, and we'd try to talk them into buying some of our crack, some of our dope, before they actually went in. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't, but we was making a little money like that. And so one day, this one lady, I remember it was this white lady. She had like this white four-door compact car. She came through. I knew her, I knew her. I seen her a lot, you know what I mean? She bought from us a lot. So she ended up coming through, and I ended up jumping in a car with her, right? And so she wanted to buy like $100 worth of dope. And so all I had on me, all of my dope was broke up into like dime bags, dime sized pieces, dime rocks. But she wanted like one solid slab. And so I told her, I was like, I don't have a solid slab on me that's worth $100, but if you take me back around to my apartment, where I live with my mother, if you take me back around to my apartment, I have some stashed in there and I can get you a slab that's worth $100. So she was like, all right, cool, I'll take you. And so I told my homeboy, I ended up telling my homeboy, asked him did he want to come with us, because I didn't want to leave him out there by himself, because there's something inside of me. I knew deep down that we weren't really even supposed to be out there. Everything, we weren't safe being out there. We always had to keep our knives on us. And I knew that if any of those guys inside those houses, any of those big name dope dealers, if they knew we were out there, they would try to do something to us. And so I tried to convince him to get in the car and come with us, because I didn't want to leave him out there by himself. But my homeboy, he was a real dude. He wasn't afraid of nothing. And so he was like, nah, man, it's jumping. I'm making my money. I got my pocket knife on me. I'm going to be all right. I'm real. And so against my better judgment, I was like, all right. I left him out there, right? So I leave. I leave with the white lady, and we head out going towards my apartment. Um, I don't know the exact specifics of what happened, but as the story unfolded, what it looks like, this what I found out later. What it looks like happened is, we was out there, we had a little blunts rolled up, we just smoked weed in the bushes or whatever. My homeboy ran out of weed. And so inside of those projects, yeah, they sold crack, but they also had a couple of weed houses too. So he went to one of the weed houses, and just buy like a 3 for 10, buy 3 blunts for $10. And somewhere in between him going to buy the weed, and I don't know, something happened. Something bad happened. And so when I made it back around there, when I was pulling up with the white lady, all I saw, it was almost like the Wizard of Oz. When the house fell on the witch and she had her feet sticking out, from under the house, and it was like curled up. But this real. It was something like that. All I saw was like 2 feet sticking out the bushes, and I recognized the pants and the shoes. Like I instantly knew that was my homeboy, and I knew something was wrong. And so I tell the lady, so I like, hey man, pull up. What's that in the bushes? So we pull up. I jump out. I see my homeboy, man. He bloody, right? He bloody, man. Somebody has pummeled this guy, beat this guy, you know. And I'm looking at him, and I instantly I get emotional. I'm like, oh no, I'm calling out his name. I'm grabbing on his shirt. There's blood getting on my hands. There's blood getting on my shirt. There's blood getting on my pants. The white lady, she freaking out. She's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I'm like, no. I'm like, he dead. He looked dead, man. He looked dead. And so just me, like, crying over him, holding his shirt, screaming, calling his name, calling for help. I like dropped my head down, I dropped my head down. I had my head like kind of like resting on his shoulder, and I was crying because it was like this was my boy, man. It even touched me thinking about this now. And so it just so happened, I leaned my head down to his chest, and while my head was on his chest, I could hear like a faint ass heartbeat, right, like boom 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 boom. And I was like, wait a minute, he got a heartbeat. He ain't dead. We gotta get him to the hospital. So she helped me get him in the car. We started heading towards this hospital. It's mainly medical center, this hospital down here in my area. So we shoot him up there to the hospital, man. And they come out, they get him in there. They take me to the back so they could try to find out what's wrong with him. Is he shot? Is he stabbed? It's a lot of blood. What's going on? And we sat out there all night. I'm just out there crying, man. I didn't even want to call his parents at the time. I didn't know how to tell his mother, what I'm saying, what had happened. So we were just out there, and he ain't make it, right? He ain't make it. And so that put me into a real dark spot. A real dark place. Very, very dark, man. And like I wanted revenge, you know what I'm saying? But I somebody had killed my homeboy. You know how it is in the streets. You had these codes. Somebody do something to somebody you love, you want to do something back to them. And so that was the code that we had. And but the only problem was, like, I didn't know who did it. It could have been any, in my young mind, it could have been any one of them people inside of those apartments, inside of those projects, and wasn't nobody gonna snitch. But that wasn't even the side of town we was supposed to be on. So nobody care about me. They ain't care about him. And so I just made up my mind that when it came out that it was possibly trying to get some weed or whatever. I knew it was three prime suspects. It was three dudes in three different houses that they sold weed out of that he could have possibly went to. And I was like, well, I ain't got nothing to lose, man. I was my homeboy. You feel me? I'm just gonna get them all one by one. And so it was just this. The first guy, the first guy really was the only guy I got. The first guy I got him. And how I did that, I ended up convincing the white lady, to help me, and so I sent her into the house, right? I sent her into the house to like trick with him, cause she was a smoker. I sent her into the house to trick with him, to like distract him. So while she was in there, I could come in through the window. So I had this revolver. I had this revolver that I got from one of the big homies. One of the big homies that always told me, man, if you gonna do something like that, you gotta use revolver because it don't leave shells. Yeah, it's gonna leave the bullet, obviously, but it don't leave shells, and you can wipe down the shells, but you don't want to have no fingerprints on it. You understand what I'm saying? So while she was in there, she had hit me up on the pager to let me know when she had him, you know what I mean, and when I could come in, when I could sneak in. This was back when pages, like, y'all see the white in my hair, you know what I mean? Like, I'm almost 40 now. So this was a while ago. I never really told this story, but I just gotta get this shit out of my chest, man. And so I climbed in through the window. I remember I climbed in through the window. When I climbed in through the window, I was in the bathroom. And so I came from the bathroom. I came into the living room. And when I came into the living room, I looked down through through the hallway, I could actually see into the living room, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I came out the bathroom into the hallway, and I could look down to the living room. So I looked down to the living room, and I remember it, man. She was like on the couch, like riding him. You know, she could see me, but his back was to me, and I for some reason, you know, instead of shooting him, I pulled out the knife. And so I pulled out my knife. You know what I mean? I was, my heart was beating fast. I was, almost damn near hyperventilating, man, because now that it was almost time, it wasn't, it's easier said than done. And so, I crept up on him, you know what I mean, while she was riding him, and I had the knife, man, and I walked up behind him, man, and I plunged that bad boy right in his neck. Right in his neck, man. I plunged it right in his fucking neck, man. No words. He didn't even see it coming. And yeah, I guess that's enough for now, man. But look, if y'all want to hear the rest of the story, hey, this story actually is a book I wrote. This is not actually true. You know, I'm an author. I wrote a book called Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels. This is right now, right here. It's selling on all websites online. Just look up Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels. That's actually how it kind of start out, and just to get you kind of give you a taste of what the book is actually about, and look it up, read the synopsis. The link is going to be in the bottom of this video. You can also order the book directly from me from dandyandbigherm.com, man. So if you thought what I was describing, if you thought that was a fire tale, fire story, hey, it's that and much more in my book, Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels, man. Y'all get that book, check it out, read it, let me know what you think. Hotel.